Hey y'all. All right. Oh my gosh. Woo. Hey y'all. Welcome back to another video. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little annoyed. It's gonna be a story time based off the title. I'm a little annoyed because this is my third time recording this video and my phone does not have storage. I'm so ready for my laptop to be back in my possession so I can get the ball rolling again, because this is not it. What the hell? Alright, is it? Okay, yeah, it's still recording. Alright. And you better not be doing nothing bad. And what was I gonna say in this video? Yeah, I had posted something on Instagram earlier just to be funny or whatever. Somebody gonna DM me talking about some congratulations. I said the way I've been napping, I'll post the thing here, but I am not. If you're just not following me, then you must not know. I always talk about that. Oh, I must be pregnant, or oh, I'm pregnant. I'm not. Y'all take the internet way too serious. Anyways, based on the title of my video, y'all already know what I'm going to talk about. So to get it started, the people that we're going to name in this video will be Regina, and that's who this story is about. But I have to tell another story to get to how Regina messed me up. So Regina, and since I'm gonna do Regina, I'll just name everybody from Mean Girls. We'll do Regina, Gretchen, and Aaron. Was it Aaron? Aaron or Eric? Aaron. Yeah, Regina, Gretchen, and Aaron. So those are the three people that I'm gonna name in this story. So let's start it off. So if you're from Tampa or you've been following me for a while, you know that I worked at this one particular club in Tampa that's very poppin'. I'm not gonna say the name just because I do go there sometimes. Well, actually, I'm lying. I haven't been there in like since the beginning of this year, but I do like to go out sometimes and like still pop up there occasionally or whatever. And then, you know, I do have these people on social media, so I'm not gonna say too much. So I used to work at this one particular club back when I was, I would say like 26. Was I 26? Probably 25, 26, around that time. And at the time, you know, I was telling my man or whatever, I was so excited to, you know, work there and stuff, and he wasn't like against it, but he wasn't too excited because I'm gonna be half naked or whatever. But I say that to say this, like, he purchased all my clothing that I had to buy to work there, so I do appreciate him for that. So a little backstory about how I even got the position. Eric, did I say Eric or Aaron? Aaron. So me and my friend, we had went to the club one night, the club that I started working at, and Aaron was there. So Aaron is is he like a manager? He's something big there, whatever. And, you know, he was like kind of trying to flirt with me and stuff, and I was kind of feeding into it because I wanted a job there. I know that kind of sounds wrong, but whatever.
What the fuck are you doing?
And long story short, you know, I ended up getting the job. So Aaron didn't really do any interview with me, no nothing. I didn't meet anybody else. I just got the job. Is it still recording? Okay. I have a mirror back there to see if it's still recording, because I would be pissed if this camera shut off. So Aaron was not talking to people. He was talking to me, like hyping the job up, saying, oh, you're gonna make at least like $3,000 a night working here and all that stuff. And at the time I was saving up for a car. Like, I always like to have two jobs. I don't excuse me, I don't know why, But I just always like to have 2 jobs. So at the time, during the daytime, I was working as a certified medical assistant, and at night I was working at the club. So he was talking it up like, yeah, you're gonna make mad money here, da 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 da. Like, you're mad pretty, and you know, God's gonna give you money. Just selling me a dream. So I'm just like, yay, okay. So Aaron gave me, like, he exchanged my number with this girl. She doesn't really need a name. I'm just gonna say this girl. So, or I could call her Trainer. He exchanged my number with Trainer, and she ended up texting me. Well, he put us in a group chat. He was like, hey, you know, Trainer, this is Fab. Fab, this is Trainer. Trainer, she'll be starting on Wednesday. I want you to show her the ropes, this and that, yada, yada, yada. So me and Trainer are texting. She's telling me everything that I need to get for my day or whatever. And she's telling me, you know, do everything on Amazon Prime so it could get here faster. So then that's when I asked my man if I could use his account. And, you know, he ended up purchasing everything for me, which was great, you know. So comes to my first day, I walk in, and I feel so stupid. So comes to my first day, I walk in, and one of the waiters asked me, he's like, oh, do you need something? And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm here to start or whatever. So he told me have a seat. He went to go get Gretchen. So Gretchen comes back, and then she's like, hi, are you here for an interview? I was like, no, this is my first day. My name is Fabiola. Aaron hired me, and he just told me to show up here on, you know, this day so I can get started. So she was like, okay, give me one moment. So Gretchen goes to the back. She's speaking to one of the partial owners or whatever, and they pull me to the back. So they sit me down in like the little manager room or whatever, and the partial owner, she was like, oh, who hired you? And I was like, Aaron. And then both of them looked at each other like,
What?
like they gave each other that look, like it's like, I don't know if it was like a bad look, or it was just like a really weird look. So I'm just like, is this a scam? Like, am I not really hired? Like, what's going on? So the partial manager, she was pretty stern. She was like, oh, have you ever done like is it nightlife before or something? Like, she asked me if I'd done nightlife before. I was like, no, but you know, I do have experience working as a server. I expressed that to Aaron, and he said that, you know, it would be good for me as a cocktail waitress / bottle girl, or, you know, anything like that. So she was like, you know, that is good that you have that experience, but working in the nightlife is completely different. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And she was like, you know, it's not for the weak. So I'm just like, dang, like, okay. Because the way Aaron was hyping it up, he made it sound easy, but the way she was talking about it, it's like, this shit is hard. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So she was like pretty much telling me what I'm gonna do and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, who's gonna be training you? And I was like, Trainer is gonna be training me. She's like, oh, okay. So Gretchen walks me back out to the front. I'm sitting at the bar or whatever. She gives me like this employee handbook to read over, and then I have to sign it and all that stuff. And then she lets me sign my papers for my W-2 and all that stuff. So pretty much getting me set up for the night. So around, I would say like probably 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when like people started coming in. And then I met with Trainer, and Trainer was showing me everything. She was giving me the ropes, and you know, we were kind of chopping it up a little bit, you know, regular stuff. So I would say the first night I was a little taken back, because I'm like, yikes, this is like really a lot. Like, the partial manager was not lying. So I would say a week after, and mind you, they only trained you for like a good 3 days, but Trainer was super nice about it. She was like, you know, if you need more help, just let me know, and you know, I got you. Ooh, excuse me. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. So I'm working, and a week goes by, and I tell my sister that I'm working at this particular club. She was like, oh, okay, say less or whatever. So her and her husband come out to support, and this night I was working on the restaurant side, but it was like a really slow night, so I was doing it, I think I was doing it with Regina. Mind you, me and Regina started training during like the same time or whatever. Like, we both got hired at the same time, so we were training the same time. So me and Regina were working on the restaurant side together, and I'm just like, yeah, like this is like really cool. Even though, cause their menu is very hard. I don't know all the names, you know, don't know who picked out the names, not judging, but it's a lot with that restaurant, slash club slash lounge, whatever it is. So, um, I didn't really know the menu like that, but as I was serving my sister and her husband, like towards the end of the night, they were saying that, you know, I did an okay job, which is like real stuff. That's probably somebody walking their dog, which is real stuff. It's like, you know, I appreciate the feedback. So they gave me a tip and stuff, and then, you know, that was it. So the week after, like, she told all of his siblings, all of her husband's siblings, that I worked at this club. So they ended up getting a section on the top floor. So this night, like, I was officially by myself, and the partial manager put me on the restaurant side by myself. This was literally like the worst thing that she could ever have done, because y'all, I don't know if you're a bottle girl, cocktail waitress, nightlife server, whatever, watching this, but have y'all ever had drunk people in your face with stank breath, damn near about to fall over, asking you for fries and wings? Like, that is so stressful and annoying. Like, I was so pissed off that night, like just so pissed off. I was irritated as hell. Like, it was just a mess. I really would rather they had given me a section or sections on the lounge side instead of working the restaurant side by myself, because that shit really pissed me off. So that night, everybody's in my face, like asking me for food, asking me for my order. Hey, I'm hungry. Where's my food at? Da da da. Like, getting all up in my face. So I guess they kind of peeped that I was new, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So there's a few people who wouldn't give me their card, because trainer told me when you're on the restaurant side, make sure you get a card on file and then go ahead and place their order in. So if they try to leave without paying, you have their card on file, you can just charge it or whatever. And I remembered that, but because that night was just so hectic and it was a lot, it completely slipped my mind, because everybody was literally like on my ass about everything. So I'm just like, okay, I'm like, you know, sir, I'll be with you in one moment. Then I'm going back to the couple that's sitting down. They're like, hey, where's my stuff at? Where's my stuff at? And I'm like, oh, you know, can you bear with me? I'm the only one working on this side. Just trying to like tell people to chill out, because y'all see that I'm the only one working on the restaurant side, but nobody really gives a fuck. When they're drunk and they're hungry, they just want food to eat. So I'm just like, ugh, whatever. So I'm getting irritated. At this point, I kind of like take a break and I go to my sister's section, and I'm going off. Like, I'm telling her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really want to leave when y'all leave. Like, this is gonna be my last night. I'm tired of this. I don't think I could do this. Because I can literally do any job, but like that one I was not prepared for. They didn't train me enough, and I don't feel like I should have been on the restaurant side by myself. So my brother-in-law, he's like trying to calm me down. He's like, okay, you know, let me walk you back to the restaurant side just to like see how things are. And mind you, while all of this is going, I think Aaron had worked that night too, and I'm going back and forth and telling him, because I think he was working at the door. I was like, yo, like this is not what you sold me. I don't want to be working here. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, this is really pissing me off. Like, I don't want to work here anymore. He was like, oh yeah, I understand. Like, this is gonna be my last night too. I'm tired of this nightlife shit. Like, they got me messed up and da da da. Just talking shit, y'all. Just talking shit. Okay, still recording. So, he's saying all that, and I'm going to my brother-in-law, telling him what happened. My brother-in-law walks me back over to the restaurant side, and he sees how everybody's treating me. And then he's like, yeah, you know, this is a lot. You know, I wouldn't blame you if you just like walked out, or tonight would be your last night, because this is a lot, especially in my health condition. Like, now I kind of know that stress is kind of like one of the triggers for my seizure auras, and I just don't like that feeling, so I try to avoid it as much as I can. But back then I didn't really know, but now I know. So my brother-in-law goes back up to the section with his wife and his siblings, And a good 5 minutes go by, and I hear like the lounge side, like the music stops, and I hear like a bunch of like people are just in disarray. So I'm looking over. I think someone was breaking up a fight. Like one of the security guards broke up a fight, and then that's what I heard, like word of mouth. I'm trying to finish giving out as much orders as I can, like as much food as I can, without collecting money because people were just running out on me. What's it called? And I look up to where my sister's section was, and I see somebody laying on the floor. So I stop everything that I'm doing and I run upstairs. I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Because I thought it was either her or my brother-in-law or something happened. So I go upstairs and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then my sister was telling me, yeah, one of the security guards collapsed, and pretty much I was trying to let them know that I'm a nurse and I was trying to give him CPR, but you know, they said no. So my brother-in-law was like, oh, you know, like it's okay, because I think my sister's a nurse and also his sister's a nurse. So they were trying to help, but everybody's like, no, 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 no. So at this point, the partial manager comes upstairs and she's like telling everybody to leave the club and all that stuff. So, you know, I say bye to my sister and her husband and his siblings, and you know, everybody leaves. So I go back downstairs. I'm not doing any orders because at this point I think the cops come inside and they're trying to get everybody like outside. So long story short, what I heard and what I seen on social media, and by what, you know, the managers, owners or whatever told all the employees who worked there. I didn't know the man personally, I just started working there, but he broke up a fight or whatever. One of the security guards, he broke up a fight that was downstairs. He either had a heart attack, it was too hot or something like that. He collapsed. They were trying to give CPR, and I don't think they had a AED machine. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't think they had one of those. And honestly, that probably could have saved his life, you know. I'm not trying to get too much into details because I don't know the person. But long story short, the ambulance were outside. They put him in the ambulance, and on his way to the hospital, he was pronounced dead, you know. Rest his soul. My condolences go out to that family. We said it in the group chat and all that stuff, but that's really sad and unfortunate. I honestly feel as though if they let my sister or my brother-in-law's sister help, probably could have saved his life, because you know, when you're in the club setting, not sure if he had any drinks, but it's very hot in there. It's very, like, you can't really breathe. There's smoke everywhere. It's a lot going on. So if someone was to help him like sooner, because my sister said that like when he collapsed, people were just standing around him for like a good minute, like nobody did anything, which I feel is weird. But excuse me, if they had like an AED kit or something, they definitely could have helped that man. Because the space that we were at, it takes a minute for ambulance to show up there because literally everybody's walking on the street and stuff. So that ended up happening, and while we were going to the back office to be tipped out for the night, the managers were letting us know what happened, and then they were asking everybody like, how are you doing, are you okay, and all that stuff. And what I think is weird, like what a red my gosh, a red flag for me is that they literally opened up the facility the next day. Like, they sent out condolences and all that stuff, but it's like y'all literally opened up the facility the next day. That's weird. Anyways, so I think a week or two went by, the funeral happened, all that stuff. I don't know if the photo shoot was before or after this. I think it was before this. Yeah, it was definitely before this. I don't know why I didn't mention that at first. So before all of that had happened, we all got like a group text message about, hey, you know, we're doing a photo shoot in 2 days. We need everybody's hair to be freshly done. We need everybody's makeup to be professionally done. If you wear like white Converse or Air Force Ones, like all of them need to be new, fresh and clean. Like, just a bunch, like no stockings with holes in them, and your uniform needs to be clean. And I'm just looking at this message like, what the hell? Like, what? So as I'm reading it, I go into work the next day, and I'm letting my doctor know. I'm like, hey, I told you that I had a part-time job. We have to take professional headshots for my part-time job, and it starts at this time, because I had I don't think I agreed, but they ended up telling me that they wanted me to stay overtime on a certain day, and the photo shoot landed on that day. So I was telling them about pretty much the photo shoot, and the doctor want to sit here and tell me, oh, Fabiola, if this is going to be a reoccurring thing, I don't think this position will be right for you. I just disregarded that, because what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, literally, what are you talking about? So I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I ended up leaving, going to the photo shoot, and my friend who does makeup, she was booked and busy that day because it was literally last minute. I had in a month-old braids, and if I have photos, I'm gonna post them here. I had month-old braids in my hair. My sneakers were new, but working there for like the past week or two, they weren't that clean and stuff. It was irritating, and it was a lot. So when I got there, not even when I got there, when I seen the message, leaving my day job, going to the part-time job, I was texting Aaron. I'm like, hey, not to sound like I'm nagging or anything or complaining, but this job isn't what you told me it was going to be. And today I'm just going to go in and let them know that I don't want to work here anymore. Like, this is not for me. He called me right away. He's like, no, don't do that. Like, stay. I got your back. Like, you're good. Stay, stay, stay. And I'm just like, it's not really worth it, because you're barely there when I'm working. When I do need help, you can barely assist me. And it's just like the whole experience was giving Mean Girls. Like, it wasn't a good environment for me. I didn't like it. There was only like a good 3 females that would be like nice and genuine about it, but everybody else was just like, I don't know, it was weird. So I'm over here telling them that, and he's like, no, stay, please, stay. When you get to work, just let me know, because I'm on my way there now. I don't know if that man ever did show up to the photo shoot or not, because y'all will see why in the next part that I'm gonna say. So I get there, and I'm trying to do my makeup as best as I can with the little eyeliner, powder, and lipstick that I have, and my lashes. Trying to fix up my edges as much as I can, which was pretty much nothing. Putting on my clothes, just like sitting there waiting. They say, for example, the photo shoot was supposed to start at 5 o'clock on the dot. I don't know what time the photo shoot started, but it did not start at 5 o'clock, or it did not start at 6 o'clock. So as I'm sitting there, Regina gets there, and she's like getting her makeup done, and she's putting it on herself. She's trying to fix up her hair, and she's like venting to me. She's like, man, this place got me fucked up. Like, I'm sitting here, not even sitting here, I left my job, to come to this bullshit, and they said the photo shoot was gonna start at 5, and it's like 5:40, and nothing has started yet. Like, and I left work for this. Like, this is some bullshit. Like, these bitches really got me fucked up. Like, just complaining. And I would be complaining mad as hell too, because I left my day job to come to this. Like, and y'all are not paying me for this, which is weird. So, and like, while she's venting or whatever, this girl, I'm just gonna call her Do Girl, because she literally does a lot. Not gonna go too much into it. She was walking around, and she's kind of like a teacher's pet, but to the managers or whatever. She's walking around, and I forgot how much it was, but let's just say the photo shoot was like $35. She's walking around. She has everybody's name in her phone in like the little note section, and she has like a checklist off to see who paid her or not. She's like, hey, the photo shoot's gonna be $35. Are you paying cash or Cash App or something like that? And me and Regina just look at each other because that wasn't sent in the long ass text that the manager sent us. So I'm just like, what? And she's like, yeah, the photo shoot's $35. So I give her cash, Regina gives her cash, and then she like walks around or whatever. So literally like half the girls are there and photo shoot still did not start. So at this point I'm getting irritated and antsy, and Aaron still isn't there because I was literally, before I changed into my clothes, I was literally gonna tell the managers that I don't want to be doing this anymore. Like, I quit. Like, here's your uniform back. I'm leaving. But none of them were there. So literally, it was only the partial owner that was there. So I'm getting antsy. I'm getting irritated, and I'm just like, you know what? I literally could have stayed at work and made my money instead of coming here to waste money for a freaking photo shoot. So I go up to Duger. I was like, hey, I gotta go back to the hospital and clock in. I didn't think it was gonna take this long. Can you tell the managers that I had to leave? She was like, okay, no problem. And I was like, can I have my refund? And she's like, oh yeah. Girl. So she gives me my money back and I leave. I go home, pissed as fuck. And honestly, I feel bad for the girls that stayed for the photo shoot. I don't know if they got any to take home with them, but there was only a few girls that made it in the actual photo shoot that they have posted on their Instagram. So I'm just like, that would have been a waste of time, because I would have been pissed as hell if I paid and I wasn't in the photo shoots. So anyways, after that happens, I think the week after, Desi Banks was coming into town. So I already had in my head, like, I didn't want to work here anymore, just because the environment, like I stated before, it wasn't really nice. There was a lot of nice nastiness going on, and if trainer wasn't at work, or if Regina wasn't at work, I was barely getting help when I needed help. Like, say for example, in the contract it said we have to promote our job on our page. Even if we weren't working that night, we have to shout it out and do all that stuff. And pretty much, what else were they saying? They were pretty much telling us to like record and tell people to come out or whatnot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm watching all the other girls. They're like smoking hookah, putting like, say for example, this is my phone, I'm smoking hookah, and I'm like, pop up, pull up to so and so or whatever, excuse me, and then they'll like flip the camera and show everybody having a good time. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna post my face in it, but I'm gonna post everybody else having a good time or whatever. So that's what I was doing. So in the midst of me doing that, Gretchen comes up to me and she's like, no phones out. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I put my phone in my pocket. I didn't even get to edit the video, click it to upload it to my story, nothing like that. But trainer comes in, she's like, hey girl, or whatever, and I'm like, hey. She gets out her phone, she starts recording everything, and then I was about to say that girl's real name. Mind y'all, what's it called? Gretchen is over the cocktail waitresses, and Erin got promoted to being over the bottle girls or something like that. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but she came up to me, she's like, no phones out. But she comes up to trainer, and trainer's recording everything, and they start chopping it up, which is no biggie because they've been here longer than I am, so they probably built a relationship already. So then what's it called, I was about to say, Pixie, what are you doing? She, like, Gretchen was pretty much like, oh my gosh, like, let's take some shots before the craziness happens. And I'm pretty sure they were talking about before like customers come in and stuff. So they pour shots for themselves, and then they're both recording themselves doing a shot, and I'm just like, Gretchen, didn't you just tell me no phones out? So I thought that was really weird, and it was just giving weird vibes. Not saying that everybody has to be friendly and cordial and cool we can be cordial at work, not saying we have to be buddy and up each other's ass, but it was giving very much weird energy. And I didn't get weird energy from Regina at that time, or Trainer at that time, and there was another girl that I'm cool with on Instagram at the time. So I didn't get any weird energy from them, but it was just everybody else was just giving like mean girl and just kind of like stuck up, and I didn't really understand it. I mean, maybe that's just the life or whatever, but I don't know. So fast forward like a day or two or whatever, I get assigned a few sections. So one of my sections, I guess like a big baller comes in or whatever, and one of the girls, she comes up to me. She's like, "Girl, do you know you have in your section? Like, oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "It's a guy and like two girls." She's like, "No, that's so and so. Like, he's big stuff around here. Like, he be tipping out girls a lot. Like, you better like make sure you take care of him, cause he be tipping out a lot." And I'm just like, okay. Like, honestly, even if he was like a list celebrity like Chris Brown or something, like, I'm not about to be like, "What else do you need?" What, like, I'm not like that. I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm not gonna overbear you with my presence and all that stuff because I want your tip. I'm gonna do my job and like go, because I'm not about to be sitting here sucking your stuff. Like, that's what she was making it seem like, and she really irritated me. So I go to the table, I'm getting their juice ready, I'm getting their ice ready, getting cups and all that stuff. And I'm asking them, you know, what do they need? And he's like, "Oh, just ask the girls what they want." So I'm asking the girls what they want. I'm getting their food orders in, and all that stuff. So, and I also, did I tell? No. I think the bottle girls was pretty much telling them what they wanted, like their bottles. Was it? I think so. I don't know. This story's kind of all over the place. I'm pretty much going based off of memory. So I do that or whatever. I'm getting everything for the girls, and then I come back with their food, and one of the girls stopped me. She's like, "Hey, how do you like being a bottle girl or whatever?" And I was like, "Actually, I'm a cocktail waitress." And she was like, "Oh, okay, like, how do you like it?" And I was like, "It's okay. This is like my 3rd or 4th week here. I'm not really too excited about it because I'm half naked walking around the club. I feel very uncomfortable, and I just don't like all the attention that I'm getting." And I know that kind of sounds weird because I literally put myself in that situation, but I didn't think it was going to be to the extreme of how I got it, if that made sense. So pretty much what I was trying to say is that when people found out that I worked at this particular club, like, they would keep returning just to see me, and it got really weird and creepy, and I didn't like that attention. I don't know, when I rewatch it, if it doesn't sound right, I'll reword it, but that's pretty much what I was explaining to her. And she was like, "Oh, thank you for your insight. I just got hired at this club and they want me to be a bottle girl and all that stuff." I'm like, "You're really cute. You have a nice body. Like, that's pretty much probably why you got hired." And I think she told me her age. She was probably like 20, 21, 22. And I'm just like, yeah, good thing you're starting out young, because I'm like 26 and this is not it for me at all. So we chop it up or whatever, and then I'm asking the dude what he wants. I guess his homeboy had came through. They asked for wings and fries. I go get them their wings and fries. The bottle girl brings out their bottles, all this and that. And like, all throughout the night, I could see the girl who was like on the guy. She would go to my section and be like, "Oh, do you need anything? Just let me know. Just let me know." And I'm just like, why are you doing that? You don't see me going to your tables asking the people what you need, what you want. Like, girl, if you don't go sit down somewhere. So towards the end of the night, the guy, he called me over, and I think he gave me like $150 tip, which was nice and sweet or whatever. But it's like, I'm not doing the most. I'm not gonna be up your ass, because believe it or not, like, if you're a bottle girl cocktail waitress watching this and you've been in it for a minute, men can see, I want to say a gold digger, but men can see when you want money from a mile away. like, stop. Like, I've seen way too many, like, working there, I've seen way too many girls, like, try to be all up a dude's ass and literally get no tips towards the end of the night, because I think they add gratuity on the bottles or whatever, and that's already an arm and a leg. So if you're sitting here saying there's Zozo, like, they're not gonna give you that big of a tip. Just do your job and be nice, and, you know, just go about your day. Go tend to your other tables. And talking about that, I'm sorry, I keep looking at the recording or whatever, but talking about that made me think of another time. So to kind of tie it all together, my nephew's mother is cousins with one of the owners. So one night, it was one of the owner's birthdays or whatever. Don't you do it, Pixie boy. Cut it out. So it was her birthday that night, and they had put me with Do Girl or whatever. Like I just mentioned, Do Girl. They put me with Do Girl, and she pretty much, like, we had a section in the front or whatever, and she was pretty much trying to act like she ran shit, as if she was like Gretchen or something. She's like, oh, you know, I'll be watching you tonight. Based off of your performance is whether you get to keep your job or not. Like, she was just saying a whole bunch of bullshit, and I'm just sitting there like, because you don't pay my bills, you're not tipping me out, you're not doing nothing. And I think this particular night I had invited my cousins out. So it was my cousin, her fiance, and her sister that had came out. And when I told my cousin the story, at first she was hot. She was like, what the fuck? I'm about to go press that bitch. Like, how dare she try to talk to you like that? And then they ended up having to leave. And towards the end of the night, she was like, Fab, I'm gonna just tell you this. Don't let no bitch try to sit here and punk you in your face. I was like, you're right. Because me, when it comes to confrontation, if we're not fighting, I have no words for you. Because at that point, there was literally nothing to fight about. You're literally sitting here talking some BS, talking about based off of my performance is if it's based off of my performance that you see tonight is pretty much if I get to keep my job or not. You're not the manager. You're not the owner. You're not nothing to me. So I'm literally just sitting there like, okay. Like, on to the next. So long story short, she ended up having a great time or whatever, because honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think every bottle girl got every bottle girl got assigned to, well, every bottle girl or every cocktail waitress got assigned to a bottle girl. That makes more sense. So yeah, I'm just like, girl, like, whatever. Towards, like, that night, I was making so much money. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep this job. Like, this is it. Like, I was making so much money. There was this one lady in the other owner section, and she kept, like, she was ordering food, she was ordering drinks, and I was getting them for her or whatever, because that's literally the only table we had. They wanted us to focus on that night. And, you know, I was being like a good, I guess, waiter to them or whatever. And she kept tipping me. And I'm just like, I don't know if she was drunk or not. And I should have never said this. I explained it to my mom and my sister one day. And they're like, girl, why'd you say that? So I'm like, ma'am, you know, you already tipped me twice. She's like, I know, baby, I know. And I'm like, oh, okay. But this lady was literally tipping me like $50, $60. I'm like, damn. So I'm like, okay. But I made so much money that night. It was amazing. So on to the next few weeks. Desi Banks had came in. I already had in my mind, because I think some BS had happened again. I was like, I don't want to work at this job anymore. So I had my dad pick me up from work, and then he took me to the club. And I was trying to tell Gretchen that I didn't want to work there anymore, but she really couldn't come up to the front, and I didn't want to walk into the restaurant with my scrubs on, like, ew. Excuse me. So I ended up seeing the partial owner who was grilling me the first day that I worked, and I seen her. I was like, hey, so and so, thank you so much for this opportunity, but I'm here to hand in my uniform. I don't think that this position is a good fit for me. Now I remember why I did that. Back to when I said that security guard had passed away. The next day that I went into work, they pulled me into the office and they were like, hey, we noticed that you had a lot of orders in with like barely any money or whatever. Can you explain what happened? And I was like, to be honest, I was put on the restaurant side by myself. It was very intimidating for me. Nobody was there to really help me. And, you know, under the circumstances, you know, the security guard passed away, you know, it was just a lot for me and nobody was trying to pay me. It was just a lot. And then they were like, okay, you know, we understand, but if this ever happens again, we're going to have to take it out your paycheck. You're not taking nothing out of my paycheck. You're not taking nothing out of my paycheck, because as business owners, no, you don't put somebody new to work in the restaurant side by themselves. You don't do that, especially at that location, because their food is so good. It's bound to be like a lot of traffic, a lot of business. You don't do that to people. You don't. Like, that shit really irritated me when they said that. And they also were saying, oh, you know, we noticed that your sales were the lowest or whatever. Of course my sales are going to be the lowest, because I'm not going to sit here. Y'all, this is literally what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to sit here and this is my section or whatever. I'm like, y'all want another bottle? You know, this bottle is really good. Like, y'all should get this bottle. I'm not a seller. I'm a cocktail waitress. I'm going to do pretty much the bare minimum. Because I think at the time, not even at the time, I don't know how it is now, but I think they pay you like a good $5 or $6 an hour. And if, based off of how much tips you make, you don't get paid from them or whatever, if that makes sense. So I don't know, it was just a lot that wasn't explained to me, and they were pretty much saying that I was the lowest in sales and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, this job isn't for me to begin with, so I don't want to work here anymore. So I ended up telling her that, and why did I just do that? I ended up telling her that, and she understood, and you know, she gave me a hug, and I went about my day. So fast forward a couple of months, I ended up moving out of the beach club, and I got this little cottage or whatever. I'm gonna call it a cottage. Got this little cottage, and I didn't really like it that much. I found out that it was infested with roaches, and I have to insert a story time about that because I still have the footage now that my name is no longer on that lease. So got a cottage, and at the time my best friend was looking to move out, and I went apartment hunting with her, and then we found this place. So I'm just like, fuck it, let me just move out and move in with you. And I'm so glad that I did. So did that, but I think we had like a good month or two before we moved into this place. So I was trying to pick up overtime at work just to, you know, have extra cash on me for like moving expenses and all that stuff, and just to be prepared. So I wanted to have some extra cash on me, and, you know, like try to pick up more hours at work, which I couldn't really get. And then what else happened? I think that was pretty much it. Like, I just really wanted to like make some extra money. So, okay, still recording. So, as I'm doing that, like as I'm explaining that to Jenny at the time, Regina ends up texting me. And when I had left, Aaron was texting me. He's like, oh my gosh, Regina was in like shock and pretty much like sad that you left. And I'm just like, that's crazy how she was like screaming about me leaving, but she ain't never once texted me. I thought that was weird, because me and Regina were pretty cool and close and all that stuff. And we did have some cool conversations, but it's just the way you played me. I don't know, maybe by me telling y'all this story, y'all could determine whether it's like she didn't fuck me over or she did. Y'all let me know. So as I'm explaining how I want extra money to Jenny, and I'm like, dang, maybe I should hit up Aaron to see if I could work at the club again to make a little extra change or whatever. And what happened? Regina ends up texting me, and she's like, hey girl, how you been? I was like, oh my gosh, Jenny, like Regina texted me. And then I text her back. I was like, hey, you know, I'm good or whatever. And I think I still have the messages, so I might post them. We'll see. I might post them. So we're sitting here chatting, and she was like, girl, long story short, I booked myself for 2 jobs and I won't be able to make the second job. Do you want to do it for me? And I was like, hell yeah, like some extra change. In my head, I'm thinking the whole time that it's going to be at the club that, you know, I left, but it's not. So when she told me the club, like I already said yes to her, and then she told me the club, like she sent me the flyers to promote it and everything. She told me the club, I'm just like, like that club again. I forgot the name of the club, but once I remember it, I'll post it in here while I'm editing, because I hosted at that club before and it was not a good experience. So I'm sitting there, you know, explaining to Jenny how I hosted at that club before and it was like a hot mess. Oh, I think it was Medusa Lounge. I think it was Medusa Lounge. So I was like, man, I hosted at Medusa and it wasn't about shit. Like that club gets no traffic at all. So she's telling me to promote the flyers and do this and do that. And then she's like, oh, you know, like pretty much try to sell it or whatever. And I'm not gonna sell it. All I'm gonna do is post it and tell people to pop out. A few people did hit me up saying that they'll come out and, you know, pretty much spend money and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, I have 2 people saying that they're gonna come out. And she was like, okay, make sure they cash app you $50. So I'll put it in here. She was pretty much saying make sure they send you the money first to reserve their section and something like that. But I didn't tell those people that. I think it was literally only 2 dudes that hit me up saying that they were gonna come and they didn't come. So she's telling me that, and then she's going over like the uniform with me. And then she's like, oh, do you still have like all your uniform? I was like, yeah, I do, but I don't have the purple top that you're talking about. So she was like, after work, I'm going to either come to your house or I'll give it to one of my friends that's going to be working there tonight and she can give it to you. So I was like, okay. So Jenny, like I'm getting ready or whatever, and Jenny takes me there. And I'll post the clip in here too because that night was funny as hell.
You know what's that vlog?
Y'all, so I kind of got scammed again. Someone told me,
baby, go ahead and turn back.
Someone told me to come to this job, and it's at a lounge that I failed at. Well, I didn't fail at. Wow.
Who are these people? Take you home.
Nah, I still want my money.
Take you.
Wait, drive up a little bit.
No. Hey, take me off that camera.
He went in the line.
Baby, he's waiting by the ropes. This is comedy.
Y'all. Like, this girl literally hit me up, asked me. I feel like she hit me up too late because if I'm, like, gonna be working.
Hey, take me off that camera.
Y'all. My stomach hurt. Ooh, that Popeyes.
It's too funny.
Yeah, it's good enough. Like, hey, mamas.
Welcome.
Y'all, so this girl, she hit me up today and she was like, hey, I have a job for you. Do you want to like work tonight? And I was like, sure. So I found out where the club was and I was like, oh dang, I kind of like hosted here before, but nobody really showed up for me except like close friends and family. Turns out this time around nobody could really show up because I feel like she let me know too late, like day of, and I like to like push things out in advance. So what people don't know is, well, I shouldn't even say that on camera because y'all don't need to know that, but like
I hit up a few people. Some of them said they were coming. Some of them say they can't come no more. And it's like, it's 10:30 something, 10:40 something. Almost 11 o'clock. We've been sitting in this parking lot for 45 minutes now. And nobody's here. So, yeah. And then, yeah. Now,
Are you done?
we're just laughing at people. I'm weak. You saw the man. He went into the ropes.
We're literally sitting there in the parking lot for like a good hour or two when the club opens, and nobody's showing up. Literally, we see the promoters, I think like a hookah girl, one bottle girl, and one girl who stands behind the counter to give like cocktail drinks or whatever. So Jenny's like, Fab, let me just take you home. And before this, like, Regina was hyping it up. She's like, oh my gosh, like, bitch, you're gonna make at least $700 tonight. And I'm like, $700? Like, say less. Like, that's gonna be easy money. Like, this is just a one and done type of thing. She was like, you know, if they like your services tonight, this could be something that you do on the side or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know, say less. This is a small club, and you know, if it works out, then great, I could do this on the side. So she's hyping it up, like, yeah, you're gonna make so much money, this and that, da da da. And she kind of explained like the drink things to me. I don't know how much the bottles were, but say for example, the bottle is $200. Like, say for example, Casamigos is $300 inside the club. $300 goes to the promoters, and we have to add an extra $27. Like, that $27 tax goes in our pocket. She kind of explained it to me, but she didn't explain it like that way, so I didn't understand really. So when I got to the club, like, me and Jenny were just sitting out there for like a good 2 hours, excuse me, just waiting. Regina had called me. She's like, hey girl, where you at? And I was like, I'm sitting in the parking lot, but nobody's here. She was like, go inside. I'm like, no, girl, like, literally no one's here. She's like, yeah, but the promoters are inside. They're waiting to meet you. Like, you're going to be late. And I'm just like, all right. So I go inside, and Jenny's like, you know, I'll wait out here for like an hour or two and let me know if you, like, just want to leave. And I was like, okay. So I go inside. Her friend introduces herself. She gives me the shirt. I go change the shirt or whatever. She lets me know this is the hookah girl. This is the cocktail waitress. The bottles are back there. This is the DJ. And these two are the promoters. And I was like, oh, okay. So the promoters were like, one of them introduced themselves and the other one was just like kind of standoffish. So I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. So I think like 11 p.m. rolls around. Nobody's still there yet. 12 rolls around and my section comes or whatever. So my section comes, and I'm gonna say they're kids because they were literally like, I would say 19 to like 22, the youngest, like a bunch of little kids, but very respectful, very nice. So they come in, I get them their juice, get them their bottle, and me and the girl were walking around doing this or whatever, literally to that one table. So I think, and this is the night that Chris Brown was going to be in town that I had no idea about. So this night, I think after the concert had happened, that's when everybody started showing up. And then, what's it called? We had like a text thing or whatever. And the girl at the front would say, hey, table G5 just got here. So when she would text us that, like if it was my section or if it was the other girl's section, we would go ahead, set up the table, wait for them to come in, and then ask them what they wanted to drink and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So I like this, like, you know, like it's light stuff. So me and the girl are sitting there chopping it up. Her tables are coming in, and you know, we're going around doing this with the spring sparklers going like this and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is a cool little vibe. So as more tables start to come in, I'm noticing I get one table in the back, and then I guess they told me that the middle section was gonna be mine. So I get one table in the back, all the other tables show up, and I'm helping the girl like serve the other tables with their drinks. Like when we're giving out their bottles, we're going like this and all that stuff. they barely had enough juice, and the table that I had with the kids, they wanted more juice. And I understand the feeling, because I'm not about to sit here and drink some freaking Grey Goose or Casamigos without any juice. Like, I'm literally drinking straight alcohol at this point. My throat is burning. I need juice. So I was trying to give them more juice. One of the promoters was like, hey, you doing too much. Like, don't give them that much juice. I'm like, they're asking for more juice. Like, how the fuck y'all don't have juice? And the juice wasn't even cold. It was just a hot mess. It was a hot mess. So my table, I think they ordered another bottle, but we ran out of that bottle, so I had to sell them another one. So I forgot to add the $27 or whatever, so I could get my tip off of their last bottle. So I come back with the cash, and every time I come back with the cash off of selling a bottle or whatever, excuse me, one of the promoter guys, he would always take the money, he would count it, and then he was like, where's your tip? And I was like, oh, you know, it's right here, whatever. So the last bottle that the kids had ordered, I was like, I gave him the money or whatever. Say, for example, I gave him $200. So he's counting it or whatever, and he pockets the money. So Regina's friend is peeping everything, and she's like, wait a minute, where's her tip at? And then he counted it. He was like, oh, this is only $200. And then the guy, he was like, did you add on like your extra tip? I was like, oh no, I forgot. And he was like, well, that's not my problem. He pockets his money and he goes about his way. So Regina's friend, she rolls her eyes. She's like, girl, like, go get your tip. Like, you don't want to leave here without no money. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I should go get my money. So I go back to the table and I tell them, hey, you know, it's going to be an extra $27 or whatever. They give it to me, fine. So all, like, the promoter dude who was who's really standoffish, all three of the sections that he told me that I was going to be working, they all came in at once. There was a section with guys, there was a section with 2 girls, and then there was a section with guys and girls. So I go to each section, I introduce myself, I'm like, hey, I'm Fab, I'll be your bottle girl tonight. What kind of juice do you want, or whatever. So I get them their juice, I'm getting everything ready, and then I serve the girls first, like the 2 girls first. So I get everything ready, and I think I was waiting on the other promoter dude to grab some juice for them. So I get everything ready, and I put it down. So I'm waiting or whatever for the juice, and I'm also waiting to bring out their bottle of Hennessy to them. So the one who was very standoffish, he's sitting there like, why are you sitting here why are you just standing here? Go give them their bottle. I was like, oh, you know, I'm waiting on Regina's friend so we can go out and, you know, do this together. And he was like, you don't have to wait on her. You don't have to wait on her. Go out there and give them their bottle. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I go out there, and I look so fucking stupid, y'all. I'm sitting there like, sparkler one hand, Henny in the other hand. I'm just like, I look so freaking stupid, because if you work in the nightlife, literally that's what you're there for. You're there to look cute. People are gonna record you, and it's just embarrassing to be standing there by yourself. So I'm just sitting there like, when do I stop? Like, are they gonna stop recording me? And as soon as their flashes went off, that's when I had stopped. So I pour them their shots or whatever, and then I look back and I see that the guy got the juice or whatever. So I go back to go get the juice. So I pour them their shots, and then when I go back to get their juice, the one who was kind of yelling at me, he's like, hey, like, why didn't you pour yourself a shot? I was like, oh, you know, because I didn't plan on drinking. Because mind y'all, the table that I had all night, I never took. The table that I had, Pixie, watching mommy work? Okay. The table that I had all night, I never took any shots with them because I didn't plan on drinking or whatever. So he's telling me, like, you need to take a shot with them. That's what you're here for. This is what you're promoting. Like, come on, you have to, like, take shots with them and be a good server or whatever. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So I go over there, and I don't like Hennessy at all. I hate Hennessy. So I sit there, and I go back. I pour them up their juice, and I actually pour them chasers, but I don't pour myself a chaser because that's their juice, and you know, I don't want to do all that. Plus we had a shortage of juice, so I pour them their juice, and then like I pour myself a shot, and I don't think I poured myself a good shot because I damn near filled all of our cups. Like, say for example, this, I can't even say, but I just poured a little more than a shot. I probably poured each of us like a double shot or whatever. So, oh, that's good. All right. So, I'm pouring a shot for myself or whatever, and then they pull out their phones and they're like, cheers, and we all like take the shot. I'm just like, oof. Me, when I take a nasty shot, you know, I go like, oh, like I do all types of weird stuff with my face. But since I'm in front of people and they're still recording, I'm just like, and I walk away. But like when I get back to the back of the counter, I'm sitting here coughing. I didn't have any water. They tried to offer me, I think Regina's friend was like, oh, do you want any water? And she tried to give me tap water. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't want nothing. Y'all are so unprepared. And I was unprepared too, because my dumb ass should have brought a freaking bottle of water with me. So that happens, and I'm like, all right, I took a double shot. I'm already feeling kind of tipsy. So I ended up texting one of my guy friends. At the time, I was like, hey, are you able to come pick me up? I might get off at like 3 or whatever, because even though I lived like 5 minutes down the road, I didn't feel comfortable enough taking an Uber. So I asked him. He was like, yeah, I can pick you up or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So I I go to the section with the guys or whatever. Same thing. I think they ordered like some light liquor or whatever. I go over there doing the same shit by myself with the sparkles, and then I tried to not pour myself a shot, but they were like, oh, pour yourself a shot too, pour yourself a shot. I'm like, fuck. So I take a shot with them, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I literally just took a double shot of Hennessy in this clear ass liquor, and I'm like messing myself up. Good thing I didn't have work the next day. So then what happened after that? I think the third table with the guys and the girls, they were like, oh, we're ready for our bottle now. And I think they had ordered Casamigos. So I'm like, all right. So I poured them up a shot, and half the table wanted a shot, half the table didn't. So I pour a few shots or whatever, and they're like, wait, you got to take a shot with us. I'm like, okay. So sitting there recording, and I take a shot. I'm just like, fuck. So then I go back, and then the guy's like, see, that's how you do it. Like, that's like, you're doing a good job. Like, you're taking shots with people and da-da. And I'm just like, I'm hearing what he's saying, but it sounds like, wah, 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 wah. Like, I'm fucked up at this point, but I don't want nobody to see that I'm fucked up because I'm by myself in this sketchy ass neighborhood. So that happens or whatever. That table, I think they ordered 2 more bottles of Casamigos, and guess who has to take 2 more shots with them? I do. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So a few hours went by, and it's time for, like, you know, the club to close out. At this point, it's probably like 3 a.m. So the lights are on. Everyone's like leaving or whatever. So I'm sitting here texting my guy friend. He's on his way to come get me. I go to the bathroom, I change my clothes, I'm helping the girl clean up, and you know, that's that. So I noticed, like, when I go change my clothes and I come back out, I noticed that the promoter dudes are already like packing up, and they're in like pretty much damn near in their car about to leave. So I'm just like, that's a little weird. So as I'm cleaning up behind the counter, the section with the guys and the girls, one of the dudes comes up to me. He's like, hey, what's your cash app? I give him my cash app. I think he cash apps me like $40. The girls had ended up giving me probably like either a $15 tip or a $20 tip. I don't remember. So yeah. So I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool. So I noticed that the dudes had left because Regina was hyping it up so much. She's like, yeah, you know, by the end of the night, the promoters are gonna tip you out and da-da-da. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so excited that I'm gonna make so much money just off of one night. So at this point, the club is all cleaned up. I'm grabbing my bag, and then I give Regina's friend her shirt back. She puts it in her car. She was like, all right, bye. And then she just speeds off. My thing about that, you don't know me from a can of paint, but at least have common courtesy. Be like, are you okay? You want me to wait for you until your ride comes or something like that? And mind y'all, I'm drunk AF, but I don't want people around me to see that because I don't want to be like taken advantage of. So she speeds off, and before she even speeds off, the promoter dudes were out of there. Literally, like they cleared it out. They were gone. So I noticed that it was probably the security guy, he or the police officer, one of them. He was in his car, but he didn't get out. I guess he waited until my ride had came, or maybe he waited to like lock up the doors or whatever. One, it was cold as hell that night. I'm glad that I brought my sweatpants and a big t-shirt because it was really cold. I'm standing outside waiting for my friend to come get me. He pulls up and he's like, oh, you're here by yourself? I was like, yeah, I think there's someone waiting in the car over there. But like, other than that, like everybody left. I think the next day comes around. Like, he gets me home safe. The next day comes around, and what happened? I think that same morning, like the next morning, I had found out that Chris Brown was in town. So I'm over here watching Regina's story, and I see that she was working at the club that Chris Brown had went to and all that stuff, which, you know, you look like, I don't even know what to say, but it's just like, I'm not gonna stop you from getting a bag. I can't stop you from getting a bag. Like, just keep it 100 with me. Like, just be for real. Like, because the way she was trying to explain it over the phone, because I don't think she said it in text messages, she was like, oh, pretty much you didn't want to work at McDonald's. You wanted to go work at, excuse me, I'm not even going to say McDonald's. You didn't want to work at the Cheesecake. You wanted to go work at Nobu's that night. And it's like, you been knew that Chris Brown was going to go to Nobu's. So why would you even book yourself for the other, I mean, why would you even book yourself to work at the Cheesecake Factory that same night? Like, that didn't make sense. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. In my head, like, the math just wasn't mathing. It was very weird that she did that. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, I was putting two and two together. So she ended up texting me. She was like, hey, did you like it or whatever? I was like, yeah, you know, it was cool. The promoters who was supposed to tip me out, they never tipped me out. Messaging them, and I think they left me on scene or something, or they never opened it and all that stuff. Even though I wasn't going to be making money that night, I could have been in bed, or me and Jenny probably could have ordered food in and just stayed at my place and just chilled, because what the hell, like, that was some weird ass shit. So she never responded back to me. I think she actually unfollowed me on Instagram that day as well. And then I think the next day or that same night, the dude that had tipped me the $40, and he's friends with them too, he was one of the promoters, but he had went to the Chris Brown concert. He ended up DMing me. He was like, hey, we really like your vibe. Do you want to come to Tangra with us? I think it was like Saturday or Sunday that following week. He was like, do you want to come to Tangra with us? Just to like, I don't know if he asked me. If I have the DMs, I'll post them here. He was like, do you want to come out to Tangra? And I was like, am I being compensated? And he was like, no, just to vibe out and chill. And I was like, you know, respectfully, if I'm not getting paid, I don't want to go out. Because I honestly, and I know females like this, who literally get invited to sections to sit there and just have a drink in their hand or whatever, and then just to record. And I'm not that type of person. I barely put on makeup when I go out to the club. Most I do is put on lashes and lip gloss. And if I'm gonna go out, I want to shake some JCs like everybody's saying, and I want to have a good time. I'm not gonna sit there and sit up in a section to look cute just to say that you have females in your section. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You either gonna compensate me to sit there and look cute, or I'm gonna get paid, or I'm gonna get in for free. Cause I'm not doing that. Like, you got me fucked up. So that ended up happening, and I turned him down. I said no. The dude had never got back to me, the one who was very standoffish or whatever. Never heard from them or seen them. Until a year and some change later, me, Jenny, and Julia had got invited to a Botox party. And at this Botox party, there was a radio station. The radio station, there was two people. There was a male and a female. The male looked so freaking familiar. He just kept staring. I'm just like, do I look good? Like, am I ugly? Like, why is... Because y'all, like, he was literally, like, staring at me like he's seen a ghost or something. I'm like, does he know Jenny? Like, why does he keep looking our way? All night he was doing that. A week later, it clicked. I was like, oh, that's the promoter dude that scammed me or that ran off with my money. And I'm just like, that's wild, like, how things work. And it was just like a lot of just like, I don't know, in this story, but that really irritated me because if I'm working for y'all, and there's another thing that I should have added, Regina's friend honestly could have did the whole club by herself. If y'all ever been to Medusa Lounge, you know how small that place is. She literally could have did the whole club by herself. She did not need me there. So I don't know why Regina was like, oh yeah, you know, we got this job for you. You can do this and da-da-da. Like, that girl didn't need me there. She is well off by herself doing this or whatever. So, I just say all that to say this. Like, y'all let me know in the comments if I'm tripping or not. But I do feel like that was kind of like a fucked up move that she made. Because I should have just listened to Jenny and just went home. Yeah, I made like $100, but was it worth it? But I don't know, that was just like real fucked up of her to do. And it's just like, that's like my whole, like, still checking if it's recording. I guess that's like, to wrap it up, like my whole experience as a cocktail waitress working in the nightlife. It wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me at all. Like, whoo, child, that was just some terrible times. Like, and I really thought me and Regina were cool because just based off the conversations that we used to have, like, while working, like, we did Juneteenth together, which was so cool. We got tipped out for doing that by the, there's other people in that thing, so I can't even post that. But if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all see when I had posted, you know, what are those things called? The cameras that spin around. Yeah, that thing. So I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was just a bad experience. If I started out younger, maybe I would have liked it, but it just wasn't for me. And on top of that, men would be trying to holler at me and try to grab my arms. A few times that had happened, which kind of scared me. And then I would try to, like, because again, I'll post the photos here of what our uniform would be like. I would try to put shorts on instead of the underwear, and I kind of got in trouble for that, saying like, oh, you're not supposed to be wearing underwear. I mean, you're not supposed to be wearing shorts. You're supposed to be wearing underwear. You have to be in uniform. And that, it was just, it was a lot, which I understand they want all their females to look a certain way, but it's just like, I don't know. Aaron fucked me over. Regina fucked me over. Everybody in this story fucked me over. I even fucked myself over for even agreeing to go do that job. Right, Pix? Where you were just... You better not be on the couch. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. That is the end of my story time. Please let me know in the comments down below if you think that I was tripping or not. Yeah. And thank you so much for watching this video. Y'all will see me in my next video. Bye.